The superspeed dilemma. Let's get into it.
Super speed is my favorite superpower, period. I simply enjoy almost everything about it. The problem is, it's almost impossible to implement into a film, show, or animation without some sort of inconsistency popping up later down the line. It seems that the cooler you try to make a speedster look, the more unusable they become. Now, what does that even mean? Let's take the scene with Quicksilver from X-Men, for example. It's one of the most memorable, entertaining, and unique scenes from the X-Men movies, and is clearly extremely popular. He quickly became one of the audience's favorite characters in this film. Here's the problem. By showcasing the speedster's powers in this way, you've now made it almost impossible to balance this character. By establishing that he can move so fast bullets travel at the pace of a garden snail, you've thrown away almost any chance of including this character in a fight down the line, because they would just go up and clap the bad guy's booty cheeks before you can even realize what's happening. And it always ends up with the audience feeling dissatisfied, because the consequence of getting to see their favorite character in action is seeing their favorite character tossed aside. That's the super speed dilemma, and today let's go over some possible solutions on how to fix this problem. How do we create a scenario where we can have our favorite speedster not hold back in a fight and also keep them consistent?
Dude, I've only seen like certain amount of speedsters that can actually like show off their speed in a cool way. I understand that it has to look fast, but like slow. Like Eternals suck. The character, the female lead, the way they showed off her speed, it was amazing.
How do we make a seemingly unbeatable character struggle? Well, first, we have to identify the types of speedsters we typically see in films and shows. I've found speedsters tend to fall into one of these three general categories. So let's begin with my personal favorite out of the three, the perpetual speedster. This is someone like Red Rush, who all day, every day experiences things in super speed. Every second of every moment is slow motion for him.
You can't see things how I do. My perception is just as fast as I am. The briefest conversation with anyone seems like hours to me. It's agony.
Next, we have the
See, and that just makes it so boring too, because imagine being a speedster and no matter how slow you go, you're essentially going even slower because of having super speed.
Speedster. These are speedsters who we see are capable of living at normal speed. This also seems to be the most common type of speedster. Most representations of the Flash, Quicksilver, and speedsters from other shows likely fall into this category. These are speedsters.
Oh, yo, A-Train. A-Train's another one, dude. I thought his representation of speed was, like, right there, dude. The little effect that they add on whenever he runs, that little... You know what I'm talking about? Bro, that's crazy, dude.
Who only seem to go into super speed mode either when they're in a dangerous situation or when they choose to activate super speed.
Bro, if I had super speed, I'm telling you right now, I'm telling you, bro. If I had super speed, and like... just cause havoc, dude.
And finally, we have the simply fast. These speedsters are, well, just fast. They don't seem to have super react, where the world around them appears to be in slow motion because of how their reaction time keeps up with the speed at which they're moving. And here's the important part. Even if they do have some sort of super react, it's never explicitly shown. These speedsters are the easiest ones to keep consistent, because although they have the ability to move incredibly fast, it doesn't seem like...
Bro, the camera work that they do in Eternals for this speedster girl, bro, is so crazy. Cause she like, it like pans up from like the sky and you just see her like zipping around and stuff. And then you'll like, it'll be like a POV of like the camera behind her and it's just like chasing her as she's like flying through the area. And she's moving so fast, dude, and it's crazy. This is spoilers if you have not seen Sonic 3, so if you haven't seen it, skip ahead. In Sonic 3, Sonic and Shadow, they go like Super Saiyan, or they're like Ultra form whenever they touch this gem or whatever. And they basically like duke it out, and they're hitting each other so hard and they're moving so fast that they're like teleporting to different areas all over the world. And like that, like, I thought that was so cool because it reminded me of like, I think it was like MK. It was either MK or it was Injustice where they do that, where they like hit each other so hard that they like knock somebody to different parts of the world for an X-ray. And I was just like, dude, that's insane that they're able to capture that on film, even though like, because how do you even represent speed whenever speed is supposed to be like,
their perception of time keeps up with that level of speed. And again, even if it does, it's something
yeah, see, like
we're not.
yeah, like Dash doesn't even like he's fast, he's got super speed, but Dash, I wouldn't count him as like a speedster, because Dash, like, that's how he got his name, is he just dashes. Like, he can maintain speed. He's basically just like a faster Usain Bolt or Noah Lyles, because bro can run like 10 times faster than the average human being, but he can't run faster than a speedster. I guarantee you, if the Flash ran up against this kid, bro would piece him up.
Not explicitly shown, and I'll talk about why that's so important later. So now that we've got the 3 main categories we'll be working with for this video, let's talk.
Bro, like that, bro. I wish they would capture that more in movies where there are speedsters, because in this movie, in Sonic, they capture like your perception of how fast you're moving so well. Like Sonic be playing baseball and talking to himself and like moving around. Like, he's moving so fast he can like do multiple things, and it just looks like there are multiple people there, even though it's just him. Or like this guy, he can play ping pong with himself. Like, it's just crazy.
What causes this inconsistency, and really it boils down to one thing in particular, which you've probably tons of power between our speedster and their.
That's like my one gripe about this movie, because like in the X-Men, they make Quicksilver seem like he's like fast as shit. In X-Men Apocalypse, whenever it's time to fight the big bad guy, it's like, oh, the big bad has slightly more slowed down perception than you, so whenever you're running just as fast, he can like see that, and bro trips over a twig, or he like gets his foot sucked into the ground or something like that, but like somehow the bad guy gets the upper hand and gets his leg hit, and I'm just like, bro, no.
Our enemy, then of course that defeat isn't going to be accepted. Regardless of how powerful these characters actually are in the lore or in the comics or in the movie itself, it's that perceived level of power that truly matters when it comes to creating that entertaining experience. To further establish my point regarding this perceived imbalance of power, let's take a look at 2 different examples from the X-Men movies. One is Quicksilver fighting Apocalypse, and the other is Quicksilver fighting Jean Grey. We have to keep in mind that not everyone who watches these movies has read the comics, as like me, we've only encountered these characters through these films. And so again, it's very important to fully establish what these characters are capable of if you don't want a character's defeat to feel like it's out of place. And after some reflection, it seems like the reason why I and so many others felt like the writers pulled this fast reaction superpower out of their ass just to defeat Quicksilver in this scene was because up until this point, we never saw him use this ability. Every other power he used.
It's just plot armor. It's just plot armor. So that way you don't defeat the big bad in like one fell swoop. If you have a character who can do something extraordinary, or who's basically just fucking super strong, then nobody's gonna be able to go up against him. You got somebody like Apocalypse who just like moving his eyes back and forth, just doing this.
Uses in this final fight has been shown before, all except this one. That's why it feels so out of place, and that's why it feels like Quicksilver was killed off just for the sake of getting rid of our overpowered speedster. What X-Men Apocalypse should have done is show him using this adaptive reaction time at least once. It could have been as easy as him quickly reacting to a surprise attack, or for example, dodging a bullet, instead of simply disintegrating the gun, simply by.
Yeah, like, bro, if you're gonna show that, then why not just give us a scene in the movie where like Apocalypse and Psylocke walks in and they're like,
Hey, we're looking for this guy.
the person that he's talking to is like withholding the information. So bro's like,
Leave right now.
and then he's like,
I don't think I'll be doing that.
bro's just like, we see bro just like, see him do that twitchy eye and show that, so that way whenever it does happen, we're not like, what the,
letting us know that he has this superpower. Quicksilver's defeat suddenly feels much more reasonable. And the same thing applies for Jean Grey. We've never seen her.
you know what I think of whenever I see that scene? Whenever I see that scene, the Justice League. That was the funniest scene I've ever seen in my life, bro. I remember watching that. Everybody's like on Superman after they just resurrected this guy, right? And then out of nowhere, the Flash comes in. He's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And all you see is Superman is, and then the Flash is just like, and then Superman just dog walks everybody in slow motion. And like, he's like following the Flash. And the Flash is just like, huh? That's interesting because there it shows that the Flash's side where it's like, oh man, I didn't know there were other people that were faster than me.
React to things this fast before. So once again, it's an imbalance and is incredibly powerful and probably does have the ability to do this. The fact that we've never caught a
Bro, like that, yo. From what I understand, Jean Grey, this girl up here, Jean Grey is supposed to be like one of the most powerful mutant or most powerful superheroes in the MCU. I don't care, bro. My boy Quicksilver should not have fumbled the bag trying to stop you from tripping over some plywood, bro.
character at this point is incredibly powerful and probably does have the ability to do. The fact that we've never caught a glimpse of this before made this defeat so unacceptable. In other words, if you're gonna have a powerful character get defeated by an enemy, make sure they're being defeated by something the audience already understands or has acknowledged. Otherwise, it's gonna feel like you pulled something out of your ass just to get that character out of the way. Super speed really is a power that requires tremendous amounts of creativity to do properly, and I personally
Super speed is like a good ability, but you're gonna have to eat like literally every time you stop because you're burning so much calories from all the moving you're doing that you're just always gonna be hungry. I feel like you would need to be really coordinated just to like move around that fast, because even though you're moving from other people's perspective, you're moving fast, but to your perspective, you're moving slow. You would need to like pay attention.
personally believe there's still so much to explore. Going back to Perpetual Speedsters specifically, I'd like to
Red Rush is a good example, bro. He moves so fast.
talk about the serious untapped potential this type of speedster has in terms of storytelling. In my opinion, one of the best ways to go about using a speedster like this is to make a show like One Punch Man, a show that embraces the fact that the main character is nearly
Bro, One Punch Man. I'm not big into anime, but bro, One Punch Man is one of my favorite animes. I talked about this with a couple of my friends. There is this scene where One Punch Man is piecing somebody up, and then this lion-looking dude, you think you won, and then One Punch Man, like, he's like, yeah, I won. How? Well, you got all these people. The shock on this lion's face, bro, I was laughing so hard. He knew the power, but he totally underestimated him, because just as quick as he said that, bro was like, bow, and bro was just like, and it's just like, bro, don't underestimate One Punch Man.
unbeatable, and making it work by having their true battle be internal instead of external. We even saw glimpses of the show kind of going in this direction when Red Rush first explained his power. This kind of speedster would fit so well into a show with a darker tone that revolves around an internal conflict.
Can I do the best that I can do? Now, honey, the world just wants us to fit in, and to fit in, we just gotta be like everybody else.
But Dad always said our powers were nothing to be ashamed of. Our powers made us special.
Everyone's special, Dash.
which is another way of saying no one is.
Right. Next up, we have the most common type of speedster, which we see everywhere, the situational speedster. This is the kind of speedster that seems to be able to control when their power is active and when it isn't. So unlike the perpetual speedster, they can actually live a normal life. This type of speedster typically loses fights when they, for no reason whatsoever, exit out of super speed just to stand there and do nothing, allowing the enemy.
Bro, and I never understand that. It's not even just with speedsters. It is with Batman, Superman. In The Incredibles, bro, that Mr. Incredible was like mentoring whenever he was a little kid, said it perfectly. You get to the monologue, and then it's like the superhero has to hear the plan. You have to hear what they're up to. You have to hear what they're gonna do. And then out of nowhere, bam, you're done. Or you just let them get away. I get that you gotta be the good guy and that you gotta draw the line. But like, bro, I'm not letting you get out of my sight. Some way, you're going somewhere and you're not getting out. Yeah, it's gonna make for a bad sequel. There are other bad guys.
To punch them. Yeah, there's not much else to say about this, and I'm not about to go on a rant. If the superpower is one they'd have to intentionally turn on every single time, then they'd still be susceptible to surprise attacks. However, if their super speed has been shown to activate automatically whenever they're in danger, in this situation, the most you can do is have the enemy be clever.
Bro, I like that so much. I like the dynamic that you can choose when and when not to go super fast, because as soon as he heard the gunshot, that's whenever he went slow and you just see the bullet rising up. That reaction time is crazy.
Whatever the case, it's worth it to experiment with more creative ideas so that both our protagonists and antagonists don't end up looking like a bunch of idiots who just stand there and do nothing.
Whoever you are, give yourself up.
And finally, the Simply Fast. As we previously established, this is the most consistent type of speedster, as they
Bro, I'd probably be like Dash. I'd definitely be messing with my teachers. There were so many times in class the teachers would be getting on to me or me and my friends, probably because we was doing something bad, but that's besides the
simply
point.
Just aren't that overpowered, resulting in the show not having to make them extremely stupid in order to beat them. And in my opinion, this is the type of speedster that is most suitable for films, shows, and animations in general. Without a reaction time as fast as they are, enemies have the ability to catch them off guard, set up traps and ambushes, or directly confront them in a fight. And as we mentioned before, even if your speedster does have some level of super react, it's important to never explicitly show it to the audience, because as long as the viewer doesn't know exactly how fast they can see things, a speedster's defeat by some sort of surprise attack would likely still be acceptable in the viewer's eyes.
You didn't see that coming.
And even without Super React, there's still so much opportunity to show off their speed in cool ways. Take for example Makari in Eternals, using shockwaves as an attack instead of punches.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Or these beautiful shots where we see her speeding across the landscape at regular speed.
Yeah,
like seriously, get more creative with this superpower. And if it really ends up being that complicated, directly reducing the top speed and the fastest reaction time a speedster can have would also seriously help. Dash is a fantastic example of this. He's just not that fast, and so you not once ever feel like this character is inconsistent. Not every single character that has super speed needs to be this incredibly overpowered, get everything done instantly sort of speed.
Yeah, what I'm saying, dude, like, he's fast, but he's not the Flash fast. He goes just fast enough for you to notice that he's running fast.
Speedster.
For him to make friends.
He's got a whole ocean of friends. Right, I'll do my best to make friends with the guy.
Joseph!
Or for example, if you really don't want to reduce the maximum speed a speedster can have, you can instead simply have something like this. This is an idea I've had for years, and I'm honestly surprised we haven't seen this get popularized yet. A speedster whose reaction time and speed slowly ramp up over time. Instead of immediately going from standing still to moving at 1,000 miles per hour, they have to, like a car, press the gas and accelerate up to that top speed. This gives so much opportunity for the enemies space to have counterattacks to their super speed, and it also allows the speedster to maintain that upper limit of power. But yeah, I really would like to see more attention on super speed as a whole. It's
like
not
a
just an
build-up.
ability that's too overpowered.
Bro, I remember doing something similar like that in school, dude. Whenever you'd run, coach would be like, yo, you gotta build up momentum. You gotta get momentum before you do a full sprint. Once we hit like a certain marker, that's whenever we'd haul out. That would be a nice representation to see. You just see somebody who's like, Flash, go get him. Flash is like, you got it. He's like, just jogging. Batman's like, what are you doing? It's like, hold on, give me a second. I've gotta build this up. Just going like this for like a mile, and then you just
for complexity, nor is it one which is only good for a cool slow motion sequence which leads to a character getting sidelined. By exploring some relatively unconventional ideas, we might finally start to get a glimpse of the incredible potential this superpower has to offer in terms of creating an interesting story.
It was a good video.